You know, malls are dying, but going into them every once in a while, you will find some good. Hey, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got something that I find to be one of the most interesting retros in quite a while. Like, we obviously know about all the Jordan brand stuff. Happens all the time, weekly in fact. And then we've had some other random retros from other random brands like the Fila Grant Hills, the Reebok Pump stuff, some of the Iverson stuff, even the Shaq Gnosis if you want to throw that in there here or there. And even Puma, like Puma's got their Ralph Sampson shoe and they've done the Palace Guard OG. New Balance though has dug way into the archives, 1989 in fact, and they've dug these guys out right here. This is the 550. Originally in 1989 though, they were known as the P550. This is an old school basketball shoe that nobody remembers. I think that this is the most interesting retro that we've had in so long because there's like no nostalgia with this, but it's such a dope shoe. They just seem to have kind of slid in, and by they I mean New Balance, just slid into the basketball retro market unnoticed. Like no wonder Nike brick right now. Everybody's going for these things. They're hard as to find, and like I said, they were just sitting on the shelf at Foot Locker in the mall. There was two others that were just like these, but instead of the purple accents, there were, I think it was like forest green, and the other one was a really dark navy. It almost looked black, but it was navy blue. I liked all three of them. I think that this shoe actually looks great in every colorway I've seen. Now, as far as the tech is concerned and the quality of the shoe, I'll just go over craftsmanship first. These are flawless, flawless, flawless Nike. Flawless, okay? I got some Nikes back here, or where are they? No, they're over there, and we will talk about them later. Quite possibly the worst retro of 2021. Stay tuned for that.
Well, they had to top that flight shoe from 2020.
And it's another flight shoe. Why do you guys do this to my beloved flights? Anyways, the craftsmanship on these guys, flawless. Every pair on the shelf, flawless. There wasn't a bad one that I saw. Crazy. Now, the tech features on this shoe are really interesting because, well, there are none. It's from 1989. This is something that I always think is interesting. So this shoe, the Palace Guard OG from Puma, the Reebok joints, and then there was these, all of which were so far separated from the tech that was in the 1989 Air Jordan or Air Flight with air in it, you know what I mean? So it's really interesting to see these shoes and what they're made like because it just shows, at least back then, how far ahead this small little brand named Nike actually was because they were kind of the new kids on the block. It's really weird that they were the ones that really, you know, as soon as they got an air bubble in their shoes, man, that was over. So anyways, like I was saying, these guys really have no tech. You have a rubber cup sole. What was the shoe? Oh, it was those back there. That video right there and that shoe, that Nike shoe above the penny, those are a pair of Sonic Flights from 1992. It was my first name brand sneaker and all that stuff. If you want to hear the story, click on the video, thumbnails right there. But that shoe and this shoe, damn near identical. The only difference is that those have air in the heel and these don't. So all of this is a rubber cup sole. It's stitched on at the toe. It's also stitched on at the heel, which I thought was really interesting. So extra reinforcement, almost like a cup sole that you would see on a Jordan 1 or Air Force and all that stuff. However, on the inside, you can actually see where it's exposed, just like the old Reebok joints or the Adidas Continental 80s and all of that, where there's an EVA wedge inside. So that's the tech that's in the shoe. That's all the cushion that these guys had in '89, unless you're wearing an Air product. However, this is probably the most interesting thing about these things. Inside, look at this. That's not an original feature, okay? This is Ortholite right here. They actually have their little branding tag on there letting you know. And I thought this was really interesting. It actually made me go and look up when Ortholite was made or founded or whatever as a company. 1997. So 89 to 97, there's a big ass gap. So this clearly wasn't in the originals. I do wonder what was in the originals. I'm assuming it was a polyurethane insole, but I really don't know. So anyways, we have the Ortholite insole with this kind of like extra additional EVA portion that has a little bit of an arch support in there. It actually says New Balance arch support, nice little liner. When you put these on, they are really comfortable, but it is from this. So it's not, you know, the shoe itself, it's from the insole itself. Probably won't last too long, despite what their little card says right here. It says long-term cushioning. And I'm just like, I've been using Ortholite for a long ass time and that bottoms out pretty fast. So long-term, my butt. But there are plenty of additional insole options. These are clearly removable. So if you have a favorite insole, you could slap it in here, call it a day. Inside though, I thought it was really interesting, man. Board last. That's cool. So not only was there the extra reinforcement from all of the extra stitching, all the overlays on the upper, but then there's also a board last in there for torsional support. I tried my hardest to find who would wear these in 1989. Did you know that the NBA was filled with Adidas, Converse, and some Nikes? That was it. And then there was this guy named MJ, and he was flying around wearing his own shoe. I only found one dude wearing New Balances in the NBA at that point in time that I've found. I gave up looking, so that I'm sure that there was more, and it was Charles Oakley. During this season, the 89, it was actually from 88 to 89, he was a Bull, and then he went over to the New York Knicks. A lot of people already know this, but in that time frame, even as a Bull, he was wearing these high top New Balance basketball shoes. Same shoe when he went over to New York for his first year. I believe he ended up going with Nike eventually, but that basketball shoe was similar looking to this, but it wasn't that. Like, I was like staring, you know, analyzing all that stuff. Not the same shoe, but I did think it was really interesting that out of all the athletes, I could find one that was wearing New Balance. So that's why I think these are so interesting, because they're kicking ass on the sales side, but nobody knows about this. Like, what is it? This reminds me of the Air Jordan 4 for me, where my nostalgia stuff with MJ as a fan really kicked off when I started watching him. So during the Air Jordan 10, the comeback season, and all the way onwards. But the Air Jordan 4 is my favorite shoe. Why? You were so young, you didn't watch them. I don't know. There's something about it. They're pretty. I really like those. That's what I feel like this shoe is for New Balance, where it's like, why do you like these? Who wore them? I know, they look cool though. So I think that that's what it is. Now the upper on these guys, that's the part where I'm a little bit disappointed. New Balance is really known for quality materials and quality craftsmanship. They definitely have the craftsmanship here. The materials just aren't great. I know that there are collab versions of the shoe that have better materials on them, but still, New Balance is known as a GR shoe that they got good. It's not a Nike thing where you're surprised when there's a good material on, like a, you know what I mean? It's not like that. Normally New Balance gives you the goods right from the jump. They are leathers. They're just really thin cuts, really cheap pieces on top of that. The nicest leather is probably right here on the toe, but even then the word nicest is like used just liberally. It's not like really good or anything like that. There's a couple of synthetic panels, mostly the colored sections like the purple and the logo and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. The nicest material is the toe cap, the gray suede. This is such a weird look for me. I like things to be like really symmetrical. So New Balance has always done this weird toe, and it doesn't bother me. It's just one of those things that like I'm fixated on. Like, it draws my attention in every time. Now, as far as sizing is concerned, they actually fit pretty snug, but they do fit true to size. I got my regular size. They fit perfectly one-to-one, the way that I like my shoes to fit. However, if you did want a little bit of wiggle room, you might want to go up half a size. And again, this insole is removable, so if you take this out and put in a thinner one or a thicker one, that can alter things. So if you happen to see these in store and you know that you are interested in them, I'm not saying to always carry your insole around with you, but if you happen to have, you can always swap it out and just see how they fit before you purchase. Now, what do you think? These look like a basketball shoe that you would wear.
They do. I like them. I like the look of them. I didn't even bother though to be like, ooh, do they come in my size? Because I had picked up my very own pair of New Balances the day before.
Coincidentally.
And so when he like grabbed these off the shelf, I was like, oh, what, were you jealous of mine? And so
I had to explain to her how difficult it's been to try and get a pair of these, because I refuse to pay for these over retail. So like, I was just like, what the hell? Like, they're just sitting here on the shelf. I couldn't believe it. So I forgot to talk about the traction real quick. That does not look like it would grip. It just doesn't.
it feels very sticky though.
It feels grippy. It just doesn't look like it would grip. So I just think this is a really interesting shoe. Very interesting.
And heavy.
Well, it's a full-on cup sole.
I'm just saying, I pulled off a pair of Air Force Ones off the shelf yesterday, and I'm surprised they didn't fly out of my hand. They were so light.
Those were not real Air Forces. Okay.
I was telling him he could be twinsies with Drew. So if you want to go check out Drew Whitcomb's Instagram account.
Yeah, and I don't remember what type of Air Force it was, but it was one of the newer ones, like with like new tech and a hollow sole and all that stuff. No rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those aren't Air Forces, even though they are.
They are.
But anyway, sound off below and let us know what you think about the New Balance 550. Also, if you remember anybody that actually played in these, like, and I'm not talking about like friends or family, I'm talking about like an NBA guy, I'd like to know who.
Hey, I'd like to know if your uncle played in them. You can tell me.
She's being very facetious right now. Yeah, I would like to know an actual player that wore these that is of some sort of significance, you know what I mean? So, but maybe there isn't one, I don't know. But thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Sound off below and let us know what you think about these down below in the comments section. We'll catch you on the next one. Since apparel hoodies are coming, these are coming very soon as well. Make sure that you are, notified on.
Yeah, get your notifications ready.
On the gram, all that stuff. I know that people hit us up like 4 days, 5 days later after pre-orders closed. They're like, I missed out.
Yeah, especially the ones who look for their notifications through YouTube. I don't know what's wrong with the algorithm.
I wouldn't trust that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you're not part of the newsletter, which you can do right now on sisapparel.com, or you are following the Instagram account with those notifications on, and you're probably gonna miss out, and we don't restock these things because they are made to order. That's what a pre-order is. You know, I'm letting you guys know, these are coming very soon with matching shorts. Sold separately, but yeah, it's gonna be dope. But thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. These things are I forgot to say.
There was so many Jordans in all of the stores.
Yo, there was so many retros sitting. Stop buying this garbage on StockX. Stop doing this stuff.
Do you want the Giants 5s? The Frozen 5s?
They're Starfish 5s?
No, I'm calling them what I named them.
Okay.
The Jordan 11 Low IE. I didn't come up with a fun name for that one. What else?
The Bordeaux 6s were there.
Oh yeah.
There was a bunch of stuff, man. There was a bunch. They're just sitting there.
In all of the stores. We went
All of
into all of them.
Yeah, and they're just sitting. They might be trashy retros to some people. Maybe that's not like a sellout thing, but I just see people leaving comments being like, oh, I just bought these on StockX. Stop doing that. You were paying for people's Big Macs and Happy Meals. Stop.
They're getting rid of the Happy Meal toys. Just to let you know. Somebody's salty.
See you later.